No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. Today we're going to talk about Scorpio moon. And there's no better quote that represents what it feels like to be a Scorpio moon and what they go through constantly. Scorpios of bat are fixed water. What does that mean? That they fixate on their emotions so that they can discover their emotions. They fixate on an emotional state of being, and instead of floating with the emotion like Pisces or initiating a feeling of that emotion like Cancer, they stay with it. They habituate in that emotion. So of bat, Scorpios are the deepest sign of all of the zodiacs, but because they're ruled by Pluto and by Mars. Being ruled by Mars shows that Scorpio has the inner will, the inner capability to transform, because they fixate on emotions and then they get Pluto to transform their state of being and for them to realize that they're stuck in that emotion. That's what makes Scorpios transformative. So Scorpios are the Scorpions. Bear with me, I know it's not the best looking Scorpio. What a Scorpio has, just like a scorpion, they go slow through their roots. And then they snatch someone from the back. They're unseen, they're black, they're scattering the field. Scorpio symbolically is rooted in earth. They're rooted in the ground. So that's what makes them fixated, because they can go slowly through the ground, seeing the emotion, tunneling, and hit someone from the back, because they're emotionally strategizing how to move. And they could be so consumed in an emotional state that they're able to go deep into the layers of why they came into that like situation overall. And that's what makes Scorpios detectives. And if they have an aspecting or in a personal planet like the moon, that means that they naturally go through transformative experiences that make up who they are. That's why Scorpios of bat are transformative, deep, psychological. They're the ice cube. So what makes that ice cube melt? Pluto comes with heat. And this is Mars. Because this is how you stay with the emotion. How Scorpio stays with the emotion. They're using their inner will, their Mars, to fight whatever they're thinking based on that emotional state. Whatever they're psychologically attuning to emotion. Mars, the inner will, and then Pluto, the outer shift. So Pluto comes from the outside, from events external from you. So you're the body, and then externally Pluto comes and makes you transform. That's why Scorpios go through transformative life situations, through hard situations. Aries fight outside, Scorpios fight inside. That's the difference. That's what makes them emotionally intelligent. In a different way that Pisces and Cancer, they all have their different modality and how to express that specific energy that the archetype explained. So Scorpios, first we have to think about the eyes. That's how your emotions operate. So if you have Scorpio moon, that means that your emotions operate in a detective kind of like way. Scorpio is a detriment in the moon. Tauro, that's ruled by Venus, is exalted in the moon. It loves to be there. Scorpio is a detriment. Scorpio doesn't like to be in the moon. Scorpio wants to act based on their inner will, not their emotional state. That's why Scorpios have to do this transformation. If not, they stay stuck in that emotion. They stay fighting with themselves. How can we understand this deeper? The moon is our unconscious. It's our unconscious state of being. So when we receive an emotion, an energy emotion, we automatically go through a mental process. Scorpios, having that level of deepness, that's why they're not comfortable in the moon. They're detective. They can't just feel. They need to understand the emotion. They need to box it. They need to freeze in it. If you have Scorpio moon, it means that the unconscious way that you react is in a Scorpion lens, meaning that you fixate the emotion and then you feel it. You fix water. You fixate the water. Freeze it. So now let's put it to practice. Your ascendant is how you rise in this life. You have 12 different houses, aka 12 different scenarios. Those 12 different houses, it has a different planetary filtering system, which are called the house lords. They're like houses. Let's say, for instance, myself, I'm a Virgo rising. Virgo. Mutable Earth. Why are Virgos known to be cynical? Because they overanalyze details, practical details. They could have really deep cynical thoughts that keep them boxed and see different like scenarios in the practical sense, which makes them see details that no other sign sees and make them so cynical because they want to practicalize and change their environment. Not like Gemini that moves thoughts. Virgo is literally thinking and practicalizing how they can move that thought. That's what makes them manifestors. So me having a Virgo rising off the bat makes me seem cynical from the outside, but I have a Pisces sun, so I have a lot of opposing energies, which makes me who I am. But just speaking like from the outside to give an example of how this plays out, let's say you're a Virgo rising and you have your Scorpio moon in the third house, the third house life situation, aka the house of communication, early communication. How do you relate with your neighbors, with your cousins, with your siblings? That is your environment. You're communicating with your environment to understand things. You go to school to understand things. That's the third house, lens with Gemini. If you have Scorpio in the third house, it means that Virgo naturally has Scorpio there, right? But you having your moon there, you're putting more influence into that house. In this case, you're unconscious. So basically, Scorpio moon, you think, you speak, my emotions go through my mind. So, Scorpio moon in the third house means that your emotions go through your mind. You overthink everything and you fixate on conversations. Then we talk about what is a scorpion, like a scorpion. What do they do? What is their instinctual, habitual way of animalistically going through life? They survive by detecting what's around it. They go through the earth scanning their environment. Scorpios hide and observes how they feel, just like the scorpion does with their body, their physical energy, and then that's how they attack through the back or they sting you. Scorpio live underneath the surface and their emotions live underneath the surface until they get an outside experience that changes their instinct. So yeah, this is a powerful placement. If you have Scorpio in the third house, that adds a mental layer of stimulation that you have to go through to get to the deeper levels of your mind. And that's going to make you an emotional, literally, detector. Go find your shadow and embrace it and show other people their potentiality through showing the dark in a light way. I resonate a lot with Scorpio placements because my part of fortune is Scorpio, and a lot of my friends and guys I've been with are Scorpio, so I get them in a unique way. Also, I'm a Pisces, so Scorpios and Pisces are known to be one of the zodiacs that match the most. I'm gonna do videos of compatibility. Let me know if you guys want me to do any of them first or anything that you'd like to see. You're welcome.